Alright, so we're going to give this a shot. Welcome. It is Friday morning, October 28th, 2022, third decade of the 21st century. And as part of my resolution for this calendar year, I wanted to geek out about some stuff, especially shows and elements of that type that my wife and I are interested in, or maybe I'm just interested in. And one of which I want to talk about is the Winchesters. It is the prequel to the 15-season Supernatural legacy. So heads up, spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking about some things that could be considered spoilers, so I just want to put that out there in the event that people are trying to catch up or not familiar with the show or any of that nature. So we're about 3 episodes in. We're enjoying it so far. Are there potentially some discrepancies? I suppose. I suppose that just comes down to how one chooses to view the world, I guess, and just how deep and how meta they want to get. So, first and foremost, let's establish some concepts, right? Over the course of 15 seasons, 15 years of Supernatural, what we would eventually learn over that course of time is John knew nothing about the hunting life, but was thrusted into the hunting life when his wife, Mary Winchester, aka Mary Campbell, was killed by a demon who had ulterior motives. We also would learn that part of the reason for that was because back in the past, when before John and Mary were married, the demon kills John, promises Mary to bring him back to life as long as Mary agrees to his terms. A demon deal. So we would also learn that part of the reason the demon was in their house, visiting young infant Sam, was based on a deal that Mary had made several years earlier in order to save the life of John. Over the course of the 15 years, we would also learn that John's father did not abandon him, he didn't leave him, that his father was part of a secret organization known as the Men of Letters. Men of Letters were more of scholars and warlocks and whatnot that studied monsters and practiced magic, but themselves didn't hunt. Instead, they left hunting to what they considered to be the jocks. Men of Letters were more nerdy, hunters were more what they would call like brain-dead, athletic jock types. We would also find out that during the 15-year legacy of the show, that Mary Campbell, aka Mary Winchester, was born into a family of hunters. So as far as the establishment of backstory goes, Mary was born into a family of hunters that knew all about the life. John was not. John was actually supposed to be a legacy member of the Men of Letters, but his dad, in order to flee a night of hell, went into the future and wound up running into Sam and Dean, and that's how we discover the Men of Letters and how we discover the bunker, and we find out what really happened to Henry Winchester. Why am I telling you all this? Well, again, to each their own. You can choose to watch the Winchesters as just a fun distraction from your everyday life. You can choose to watch it as a prequel. You can choose to put away some of the potential for discrepancies, although there's an opportunity for them to explain what some of us could perceive as discrepancies. Case in point, Winchesters opens up with John getting off the bus, having returned from Vietnam, meets Mary. All right? Within the first episode, and I mean like right away within the first episode, John was given some sort of a letter by a strange man, supposedly from his father, telling him to go look for this location in Lawrence, Kansas. That would eventually lead to another Men of Letters secret lair, a hideout, if you will. And as he's doing so, he's attacked by a demon. Mary comes to his rescue, and within the first episode, very, very shortly, John is thrusted into the hunting life, which runs contrary to the Supernatural storyline, and it depending on how you wish to suspend belief and how you want to see it play out, Dean was born in 79. Sam was born in 83, which is funny because Jensen was born in 78. Jared was born in 82, but I digress. So, as a prequel, you have at least until 78, and this story starts in the spring of 72. So depending on how they do it, you got 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. You got at least 7 seasons, unless they somehow spread a calendar year over the course of more than one season, like One Tree Hill did, where One Tree Hill, the first 2 seasons was one school year, like a semester, if you will. Well, we'll see. At the very least, they've got roughly 7 seasons, maybe 6, to try and tell this prequel, where they could potentially reset everything. Because let's not forget, nothing but spoilers here. Sam and Dean were predestined by bloodline to be the vessels for Lucifer and Michael. So heaven and the angels had a heavy investment in the Winchester brothers. So it's entirely plausible that at some time close to this series finale, that the angels get involved and basically etch-a-sketch, wipe everything clean. So there's plenty of room to tell the story, as well as establish the existing timeline without necessarily ruining anything. Some of the things that were a little bit rough was how quickly they introduced the world, how quickly John was like, sure, okay, I'm down. I mean, look, I'm a heterosexual Caucasian male, heterosexual male, and I like a pretty woman, as much as the next guy. And, yeah, at some point in my life, there probably wasn't anything I wouldn't have done for a very attractive woman. But believing in, like, demons and ghosts and all that, that's a bit of a stretch, just to potentially have some sort of romantic relationship with a woman. But I digress. That's probably the only part that was a bit difficult, was some of the additional plot and additional story that's being added that runs somewhat contrary to Supernatural, but I'm willing to forego it. My wife and I talked about this at length, and we're willing to forego it. The only problem we had with the overall storytelling was how quickly John is immersed in this world and accepting of it. As far as additional characters go, neither one of us have a problem with that. I mean, it stands to reason Mary would have friends. It's nice to have an ensemble cast. It's nice to have diverse characters. All of that is great. My only chief heartache is how quickly John was just like, yeah, sure, okay. I'm also very interested to see if they introduce Baby. I want to say, according to the lore, John purchases Baby, I think, in 1978. I'd have to go back and rewatch, or you can go to Supernatural Wiki. Whoever runs that site more than likely has that nailed down. But when Castiel took Dean back in time, or Sam and Dean both, Dean helps John buy Baby, the Impala, and at that point John knows nothing. So again, I'm going to leave it to the storytelling. I'm assuming at some point towards the end of the show, the angels are going to get involved and basically do a bit of a reset. How much of a reset, I don't know, because again, according to the lore, Mary obviously knew the whole time she was a hunter and knew everything, but John did not. So I'm curious to see how they play that out, and I hope you are too. As a fan of the show, I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're pleased to have some form of Supernatural back on the air. As for me, I also didn't see anything wrong with Wayward Sisters. Brianna Buckmaster, Kim Rhodes, I forget the other actresses. I do apologize. They're much too young for me, so you know, Brianna Buckmaster and Kim Rhodes are of appropriate age for me. So, you know, whatever. That being said, I hope you're enjoying it like we are. You know, whether you fancy the discrepancies or not, hopefully you can overcome them and still enjoy the show nonetheless. But as is custom with my channel, I don't really care about the likes or the subscriptions or the notification bells. Since all I'm really trying to do is branch out and have a discussion. If you're a fan of Supernatural, if you're enjoying the Winchesters or maybe not enjoying it, I just want to hear from you, and let's have some discussion. Let's take an opportunity to get full-on meta and geek the hell out over this. I think it could be fun, and it could also be a fun and a neat way to just kind of engage with other fans. So you let me know what you think. Till then, you're awesome.